think about this question during the lesson. Maya and her father are building a treehouse. The roof will have a 9 to 12 pitch. That is, for every 12 inches of horizontal distance, the roof rises 9 inches. If the horizontal distance from the edge of the roof to the peak is 6 feet, how can Maya determine the height of the roof at its peak? We can make a table of values that show the 9 to 12 pitch. How can we find the constant of proportionality? The ratio 9 to 12 can be represented as the fraction 9/12, which reduces to 3/4. Now, complete the table using ratios equivalent to 9 to 12. Since each ratio is equivalent to 3 to 4, the constant of proportionality is 3/4. Graph the ordered pairs from the table. Then draw a line through the points to connect them. The line shows the steepness of the roof. The steepness is also called the slope of the line. The slope of the line is the ratio rise to run. What is the rise and what's the run? The rise is how much the graph goes up between points. The point 60, 45 rises 27 from the point 24, 18. And the run is how far the graph goes to the right between points. The point 60, 45 runs 36 inches from the point 24, 18. You can choose any 2 points on the line to find the slope. You may find that the rise and run are different, depending on which 2 points you choose. However, the slope is a ratio, so it does not change. The slope of this line is 3/4. For instance, the rise and run from the point 12, 9 to the point 24, 18 are 9/12. The rise and run from the point 24, 18 to the point 60, 45 are 27/36. Notice that both times our slope is the same. Maya can use the graph to find x by moving to the right 6 feet, which is 72 inches, and then moving up until she intersects the slope line. The roof is 54 inches, or 4 feet 6 inches in height at its peak. Now you know what the slope of a line is? You can use slope to solve problems.
Jack graphs how far he plans to bike over a 3-day charity ride. Find the slope of the line.
Slope equals rise over run. So we need to find what our rise and run is. So our rise means we have to start at 0 and go up. Rise means up. So we go up to the first point, which is 30. Yes, 30. So I'm going to write 30 as my numerator. And then if I go from here to my point, that's my run. I'm running over to that point. That's going to be a 1. So in this case, my slope is 30 because 30/1 is a whole number.
The graph represents the depth of a diving submarine over time. At what speed is the submarine descending? Find the slope of the line, which equals the rise divided by the run. Find the rise and run using the x and y coordinates from 2 points on the line. The rise is the change in the y coordinates, or y2 minus y1. The run is the change in the x coordinates, or x2 minus x1. Now, substitute values for the variables. For the first point, the x-coordinate is 5, and the y-coordinate is -400. For the second point, the x-coordinate is 10, and the y-coordinate is -800. Now, simplify the fraction. The numerator is -400, and the denominator is 5. so the fraction simplifies to negative 80. The slope of the line is negative 80. The submarine is descending at a rate of 80 feet per minute. In a proportional linear relationship, you can always choose the point 0, 0 as one point for calculating the slope.
The graph shows the distance a car travels over time. Find the slope of the line. What does it mean in the problem situation?
So we need to find our slope of this line and its rise over run. We have an equation for finding the slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So those are your coordinates. So in this case, you have 2 and 110 and 4 and 220. Your 2 is your x value and your 4 is also your x value. So this will be your x1. This will be your x2. So you can determine your first value from your second value just by the direction of your line. So you start from the least basically and work your way up as it increases. So your y2 is 220 and your y1 is 110. So you subtract those numbers and you get 55. So the slope of this line would be 55, which is how fast the car travels per hour.
The graph shows the proportions of red and blue food coloring that Taylor mixes to make purple frosting. What is the slope of the line? Tell what it means in the problem situation.
Okay, so once again, we have to find the slope of the line, and I'm going to show you how to use the equation you saw in the example. So we have y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So our x1 is 25. Our x2 is 50, so 50 minus 25. We have our y1 as 35 and our y2 as 70. Okay, so then you subtract 70 minus 35 is 35. And 50 minus 25 is 25. And then you simplify that by dividing, and you would get 1 4/10. So 1 4/10 would be our slope of our problem. If they wanted this as a fraction, you would divide by the greatest common factor of 35 and 25. In this case would be 5. So you would divide both by 5, and this would equal 7 over 5. And so, again, that's still a slope. So 1.4 is the decimal version. 7/5 is the fraction version. And what that means is for every 5 drops of the blue food coloring, Taylor is adding 7 drops of the red food coloring.